Hello all and welcome to Wow Crochet Designs. My name is Mary and in today's tutorial we are working on this gorgeous little star that you see right here. In fact, we're working on two today, believe it or not. They're both the same. The only difference is this one here, the white one, has one extra round, which we will talk about in a moment. But let's talk about firstly the colour combination of our star today. It was chosen by the lovely green butterfly during one of our live antics here on the channel. Now we have lives at 10 a.m. Saturday mornings, Melbourne, Australia times, and Wednesday afternoons at 4 p.m. once again, Melbourne, Australia times. Now, the thing is, on our Saturday mornings live, we do a thing called Live Antics, where I pop a whole lot of yarn on the table here, and you get to choose a colour combination for our very next project. And that's exactly what Green Butterfly has done today. So we are doing our star today in the colours that Green Butterfly has chosen, on top of doing one in white as well. And the reason is, and I'll explain it to you real quickly, let's grab all the pieces. All right, let's grab all the pieces. I think they look like that. Oh, I can't remember now. It doesn't matter. We can work on it on Monday and we can change it around as well. What will happen is you will have on your garland or on your bunting 1, 2, 3 and 4. That star right here will be in the middle. It's a lot bigger. It might be the other way around. I can't for the life of me remember. But it doesn't matter. We can talk about it on Saturday's Live. In fact, you know what I'll do? I'll give you guys the option. That's a good idea. On Saturday's Live, which one of these three you want to see close to the main star. Because what's going to happen is you're going to have 3 on that side and it's going to be mirrored on the other side. So you'll need 2 Santas, 2 trees and 2 stars for your bunting or your garland to work. So we'll have it like that on one side. Is it out enough? Well, that's as far as it gets. And mirror imaged on the other side. There will be spaces between each one of them. Maybe not such big spaces, but you know, relatively close spaces. Now, if you wanted to make yours larger, we're going to talk about the actual chaining that we're going to use on Monday. We're going to talk about that on the weekend. But I can always tell you now exactly, it's not going to be just chains. It's going to be what I like to call chain loops. Attaching onto your Santa, make a few more loops this way, attaching onto your tree, a few more loops, attaching onto your star right up the top point there. And then we might make, and I haven't decided yet, probably a few more loops there and maybe a long chain across so that you can attach it to whatever you want to attach it to. And we'll do exactly the same on the other side. But what we'll do, it'll start like, I'm just playing with the colours now. It'll start like that, right? You'll do your first loops here. You'll do your first few loops. Then you'll attach there. Then you'll do a few more loops. Then you'll attach there and there and there. Then you'll go to the white. And then you will go to the green. So it doesn't stop. It just keeps crocheting all the way along. When you get to your last star or whatever item we're going to put last, when you get to your last item, you're going to do a few more loops and we'll probably have some chains across there and then cut our thread. But we'll talk about that on Saturday mornings live. Yay, get excited. Or on Monday's video as well. We will be doing the actual garland itself on Monday. And what will happen is one of our subscribers on Monday, as you know, Green Butterfly has chosen this colour, these colours I should say. One of our subscribers on Saturday will get to choose the colours we're going to use on Monday for the loops. It doesn't necessarily have to be white, green or red. It can be any colour that the subscriber on Saturday morning chooses. So that's very exciting, guys. Get excited about that. Just remember, you need 2 each of all of these and 1 big star. If you want it to have the big white star in the middle, then you need to do this 1 star. Now this 1 star will have 1 row extra at the end of the row, but I'm not going to talk anymore because this is getting too long. I will tell you, however, you need 8 ply cotton. That is a DK weight or a number 3 overseas. All right. You will need your 4mm hook, which we used today. There it is. You will need your scissors. You will need your sewing needle. Definitely need that sewing needle, especially for the green, or both of them really. And you will need 2 stitch markers. Well, you only really need 1, but I used 2 because I used 1 on the green and I used 1 on the white. And what I did with this tutorial is I did the white exactly the same time as the green. So when I slip stitched the green, I moved the green out of the way, and then I said, right, this is what I want you to do with whites. Slip stitch into yours, slip stitch across, and pop yourself in the corner. So that those of you who are creating one colour can work on the one colour as we're working on the green. So I worked on both of these items at the same time, yeah? So at the end of the tutorial, very end of the tutorial, you get to do one more round of the white. Once you've finished the green, if you're not interested in doing the white, just slip stitch there, weave in all your ends, and you're done with your star. In the meantime, thank you very much, Green Butterfly, for your colour combination. They are gorgeous greens. I love them. Green is my actual second favourite colour, by the way, Green Butterfly. As you all know, red is my favourite, but green is my very second favourite, and I'm loving the star in the green. Again, you can make the white one as well. Thank you for joining us. Good luck creating your gorgeous star. Alrighty guys, grab your thread, whether it be the green or the white. All the stitches in the tutorial are exactly the same, all right? But grabbing your green, we're going to start off by making a magic ring, magic circle, magic loop. Just grabbing 2 fingers there. You've got your working end here and your little tail there. Wrap your working end around your fingers to form a little X. Notice how I grabbed it at the back. So you're forming a little X. Let's get a nice close-up of your X, yep. And that's the letter X, yep. Pop your hook under the first loop. Grab that back loop, pull it up, and you've got your one there, and then you've got 2 strands here. One is your working yarn and one is your thread. You're going to grab everything like so. It's a little tricky to begin with, so if you are new to crochet and you want to practice this, pause the video here and rewatch this section again. For the rest of us, we're going to chain 3, and a chain is yarn over your hook, pull a loop through, 1, yarn over, 2, yarn over, 3. In that center, still holding it, I'll just let go for a second, but keep holding on to it. Yarn over your hook, you're going to pop your hook in that space, pull a loop through, this is the space we made, and you've got 1, 2, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through the last 2, and that was a double crochet that you've just made. Now before we continue, let's get it a little closer and grab your stitch marker. Now this is the stitch that we just made right here. Right next to it is the top of that chain 3 that we did in the beginning. So just pop your stitch marker in there like so, in that top chain. That's between the 2 loops and 1 loop on the bottom. Beautiful. Now we're going to start again. All right, so now what we're going to do, give your tail a gentle tug, not too much because you need to put some cluster sets in here. So just a gentle tug, and you've got like a, I don't know, like a half a finger worth there. Now you're going to put another double crochet in there, yarn over your hook, in the space, pull a loop through, 1, 2, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through the last 2. The chain 3 will act as a double crochet in this round. So you've got 1, 2, 3, and now you're going to chain 2, 1 and 2. And in that space, you're going to put 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. And once you have your 3, you're going to chain 2, 1 and 2. And those chain 2s that you see here, they are your corners. All right. So now we're going to put another 3 double crochet, chain 2, and off we go. 1, 2, 3. And chain 2, 1 and 2. So you've got 1, 2, 3. You need to put 2 more of these sets in that center. You might want to close it a little tiny bit, not too much, but you need 2 more sets of 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, chain 1 and 2. That's your first set. And now we are doing our last set. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, last set of 3 double crochets and chain 2. Oh, sorry, I'm going too fast. I do apologize. That's your third double crochet. Chain 1 and 2. And before you do anything, just grab your little tail end. That's for both green and white snowflakes today. So just grab your tail end and slip stitch. This is for everyone. Into the stitch with your stitch marker, like so. So both your greens and whites should be slip stitched through. All right, take out your stitch marker. Greens, you wait right there for 1 second while I grab the whites, and we are going to, this is just for the white. Those of you doing white, green we're going to cast off in a minute, but for the white, what we're going to do, you are slip stitched into your chain. It's a little bit difficult to see this white, sorry, I do apologize. Slip stitch into your second stitch, which is right next to your chain. Slip stitch into that third stitch, slip stitch into your space, chain 1, 2, 3, and pop your stitch marker in there, like, if I can get it in there, hello, in there like so. All right, and just wait for us there. For the rest of us, we are going to cut our green. Right, pull your loop, if you can get it, pull it through. Yep. Grab your light green, and what we're going to do, and I've split my yarn there, haven't I? Oh no, it's just a loose stitch, that's all. You're going to pop your hook in the corner just before your green loop. Yeah. And now this is just for the greens at the moment. So white, you just wait there for 1 second, it won't be long. Passing our loop forward like so. We're going to lock it into place with a chain 1, 2, and 3. All right, white, you should be right here where we are. Yarn over your hook. This is for everyone now, both white and green. You're doing a double crochet in that first space. Chain 2, 1 and 2, and 2 double crochets in the same space. So this is all in the same space that you are in. Like, let me pass that little tail at the back now. We've crocheted over it. It's not gone though. We're going to have to weave that in as well. All right, so what we're going to do now this is everyone as well, we're going to chain 1. Now, when we did our 3 double crochets, we need to leave a big space here, and that's what that chain 1's going to do. Then we're going to jump into that corner, and you can crochet over your tail. If you're anything like me, you can just kind of like hold it at the back. You don't have to, you can leave it dangle and weave that in as well. We're still going to weave it in at the end, so it doesn't matter either way. So yarn over your hook, jump into the center with a double crochet. 1. Let's drop that tail at the back now. And a second one. Chain 1 and 2. And 2 double crochets, all in the same space. And that's your round. You're chaining 1, I'll show you again, jumping into that center of the next corner, and you're putting 2 double crochets, chain 1 and 2, and 2 double crochets. Super easy this round. Chain 1, jump straight into your very next corner with your corner set. I was going to let you head off on your own, 1, 2, but I thought, you know what, let's just do it. Let's just do it. It's a short round. 2 double crochets. I'm not telling you what to do, but you know now. Chain 1, Jump into the corner with your corner set of 2 double crochets. Whoops, don't split the yarn. Chain 1 and 2 and 2 double crochets. I just realized I was going fast, and I apologize to those of you who are joining us new. So I'll slow that down. Terrible like that, aren't I? Chain 1. All right, get to that section there and we'll catch up in a minute. But what we need to do now is slip stitch to join. All right, so I don't know, I've done something wrong with my hook here, I don't know. All right, so there is our slip stitch, and this is for everyone. Whites, you need to do this too. For those of you crocheting the white snowflake, everyone slip stitch into the stitch with your stitch marker. Pull a loop through and pull it through to the loop on your hook. Remove your stitch marker. Yeah, chain 1 for the green. You leave yours there, but whites, when you join, and I'm doing 2 at the same time here, guys, so bear with me. Whites slip stitched into your stitch already. Just wait there for me one moment. Mine is very tight. Mine is very tight. Wow. This is really tight. Excuse me, everybody's saying. All right, are you ready? Now, white, you once again are slip stitching into the very next stitch like so. Then you're slip stitching into the corner like so. And just chain 1, 2, and 3 and pop your stitch marker in there. Like so. For the greens, your job is to cut your light green and grabbing your dark green, and we're going to start in the corner just before the corner that we just did. So we're starting in that corner there. All right, grab your hook, pop it in there and grab your little loop, pull it through, pull up a loop, pass your little thread over. Whoops, let's try that again, one more time. Chain 1, 2, and 3. Just want to make that a bit bigger there. And you're going to start with your, wait a minute, first we'll pop our stitch marker in. I do apologise. Excuse me, Mary, get it right. And there we go, right there. Nearly forgot. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to do a half treble in there. This is classified as a double. So what you're going to do is pop your hook, your yarn over your hook like so. Let's try it again. Yarn over your hook like so, pop it in the space, pull a loop through. You have your 3 loops. This time you're not pulling your yarn through 2 loops, you're pulling it through 1. So yarn over your hook, pull it through 1 only. Yeah. Then yarn over your hook, pull it through 2. Yarn over your hook, pull it through the both loops up the top. Now this is for everyone. Chain 1 and 2. And you're going to do another half treble. So yarn over your hook into the space, pull a loop through, 1, 2, 3, yarn over, pull through just 1, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through the last 2, and then you're going to do a double crochet. So yarn over your hook, just your basic double crochet. Like so. Pop your little thread at the back. We are going to continue by chaining 1. And now we have sides. In those sides, we're going to put 2 half double crochets. But I've got a tail here. I'm going to pop it under my fingers there at the back. You don't need to if you don't want to. I'm going to crochet over that tail. I'm going to put 2 half double crochets in there. So that's yarn over your hook, in the space, pull a loop through. 1, 2, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops in, or on your hook, I should say. Yarn over your hook, we're going to do a second one. In the space, pull a loop through. 1, 2, 3, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops on your hook, chain 1. And that is the side. Jumping into the corner with a similar corner to this, except we don't have the chain 3s here. We have a double crochet and a half treble. In the space, pull a loop through, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through the last 2, chain 1 and 2, another half treble. In the space, pull a loop through, 1 and 2 and 2. All right, and then you've got your double, normal double crochet right there. Chain 1. Easy. Now in that space, what are we doing? 2 half double crochets because it's the sides of our work. So now we're popping our 2 half double crochets in there. So yarn over our hook, into the space. Remember how we do this? Pull a loop through, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops on your hook, and we're doing it again. One more. Chain 1. And then you're going to do exactly the same in the corner with your double crochet, half treble, chain 1 and 2, half treble, and a double crochet, all in the same space. Oops, I was going to show you, which I will, but chain your 1. All right, so that's what you have so far. So now your job, and this is the easy part, guys, is to do exactly the same. So chaining 1, half doubles, 2 of them, chain 1, corner, chaining 1, 2 half doubles, chain 1, corner, chaining 1, 2 half doubles, get to that little section right there, and I'll meet you there once you're done. Alrighty guys, here we are at the end of this round. Now what you need to do here is you need to make sure you've done your 2 half double crochets, chain your 1 and slip stitch into the stitch with your stitch marker. This is both greens and whites, so pop your hook in there. It's a bit tight for me, but I'm getting there. Pull a loop through, pull it through to the loop on your hook. Now we'll leave that there for greens, grabbing the whites. Okay, you've pulled it through to the loop on your hook. Yes, you are going to slip stitch into your second stitch, into the space, pull the loop through, chain 1, 2 and 3, and then you're going to pop your stitch marker in there and wait for us. For the rest of us, we are going to, we've chained our loop. No, we haven't. We chain our loop, give our piece a cut. Now I've already cut mine because I started recording before and forgot to press record. So give it a cut and pull your loop through like so. So that's that. Now you need to grab your green. For the white, you're doing exactly what we're doing here. All right, but just pull out that stitch marker first. Let's just start off the green. Now whites, you just wait there for one moment. Let's pull the light green through like so. Passing your tail forward only because I like to lock into place. This isn't necessary to do that. You can just work the way you usually do. Chain 1, 2 and 3. Popping your stitch marker in there like so. All right. Now everyone, we're going to do exactly, this is both greens and white by the way, exactly what we did in this round here for the corners only, yeah? So yarn over your hook and you're doing a half treble, like so. You know how to do them. You're experienced now. Chain 1 and 2, you like that? You're experienced now. You're doing another half treble in there. And a double in there. Now this round is different. There'll be no chaining in between. We now have 2 spaces and we're going to work a solid stitch. So you're going to push your work right over and you will see there's a little chain right there. That's the top of your half treble stitch from the previous round. You need to work in that stitch and we are doing half double crochets here. So yarn over your hook, you know how to do that. Pop it in the stitch, pull a loop through, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops, 1. We're going to do another one in the very next stitch right there. 2. And we're going to do one in the chain space. So over the chains, pull a loop through, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. And in these 2 half doubles in our previous round, we are putting single crochets. So single 1, single 2, tight stitch there. And in that stitch with your knot, you're putting 1 half double crochet in the stitch over your tail like so. And you have to put 1 half double crochet in each one of these stitches. You can work into the chain stitch of that top chain there, or you can work in the knotted area. I find the knotted is a bit crowded in this particular tutorial, so we're going to work in the chain. It doesn't always work well to work in the chain, but it is in this tutorial. So we're going to work in the chain, and there's 1 half double, and there's your second half double. All right, and in your corner, you're doing your normal corner. Double crochet, half treble, chain 1 and 2, half treble, and double crochet. So that's the start of your pattern. So yarn over your hook, half double crochet in your first one, half in your second, oops, half in the space, single, single, half in your space, half in your stitch, and half in your last stitch right there. All right, so from there, just before your corner, actually from your corner to there is the repeat pattern. So I'm going to pop a little timer up here from the start of the corner if you've forgotten the pattern. And all you're doing basically here is a corner. Make sure you move your corner over so you can see your first stitch. You're doing 1 half there, 1 half there, 1 in there, and then 2 singles, 1 half, 1 half, 1 half, corner. You know how to do the corner, double crochet, half treble, chain 2, half treble, double crochet, and so on. All right, so you're going to repeat that, that, there, and there. Get to that spot right there, and I'll meet you there once you're done. Alrighty guys, I forgot to mention to the whites earlier, I did leave a little disclaimer to actually get to your last 3 half double crochets. Now this is going to be a tad tricky because we have actually slip stitched into those stitches. So if you want, you can actually go back into the stitches there, and I'll show you that in a minute. So we just do a half double crochet around the chain space like normal. Whoops, don't get caught up. A half double crochet back into the stitch, the very first stitch that we started with. So you're crocheting over your slip stitch, if you will. It is a little tricky, all right, which is why I forgot to mention and got you to come back and do that part. Well, the second one's not too bad, right there. So you still have your last 3 there, all right? So let's go back to the greens. So everyone should do this part here. When you get your last half double crochet done, you slip stitch to join. Now whites, you wait there because we're going to do something extra. So I'm just going to push the white out the way for now. And we're going to work on the green. And the reason is pull the loop through and pull it through to the loop on your hook. Pull up a loop, obviously, like we've been doing all along, and cut your work. For all of the green pieces, this is actually the final row. Ta-da! That's your final row. That's your start. You're going to weave in all these ends in a minute. Right, and then we're going to talk about the white. But for now, let me just show you quickly that center end right there. And as you noticed, we crocheted over the tail and we pulled it shut to give it the magic ring look. But look how it's opened up that little bit. A lot of people say, oh no, I'll just leave it like that, it'll be all right. But if you cut that there, and after a while that opens up, you will end up with a hole, okay? So see, if I give it a tug, that center closes up again. So what you need to do, even though we've crocheted over the tail, I'm going to cut this a little bit, you actually do need to weave that end in. So grab your needle, your sewing needle, thread it, and weave it in. This is the tail that really needs to be weaved in properly, because if you don't do that, this will come undone in the wash. If you ever decide to wash it, it will come undone in the wash, yeah? So all you need to do is go through a few threads, just checking the front, making sure you can't see the needle, yeah? Pull it through. One more time. Just a couple even. Doesn't have to be the whole round like I usually do. Then turn it back the other way, and you're going back into the direction that you just came through. Different stitching, of course. You're skipping some stitches. You're not going through exactly the same stitches because you don't want to unravel what you just did. And I think that's plenty. 2, 3, 4, whatever makes you feel comfortable with. All right, so that's your center. Now with the other ends, they're very basic. I'll show you one and then you head off on your own and do the rest. And I'll show you one where it's a little tricky. Is there one that's a little tricky? Right here, that dark green right there. It looks like it's a little tricky. It had to be the dark green, didn't it? All right, so with the greens where they're under a full layer of stitching, let's get a close-up, that's better. They're under a full layer of stitching, you can weave that through that way and back again, but making sure you skip a stitch like this. We've crocheted over this tail right at the very back here. If I go right back through there, I'm going to unravel what I just did, so what I've crocheted over. So what I'm going to do, so that you can see it, is just split a little bit of that light green and then go through the stitches. So it's not going to unravel what we've crocheted over. Yeah, turn it through there. Can you see the needle? You can see it here, but that's just the space. But can you see it there? No. So what you do is you pass your needle through. Now, if it helps to go back in that other direction, you are splitting a little bit of the light green and you're going through a lot of stitches when you go back, not just that one area. You can go through a lot of stitches. I'm just going to do that one area. I think that's enough. I might do one more just to be safe. Yeah. But really, you don't need to do as much as I do. I'm very pedantic about tails. I'm extremely fussy. My regulars would know this. If you're joining us new today, welcome. Don't forget, whoops, look at that, I haven't pulled it through. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We have a lot of fun and we do lots of wonderful tutorials. Plus we have a lot of fun on our lives as well. All right, so now your job, this is the easy part, guys. I'll let you head off on your own to weave in all these ends. Now, let's go back to that very first stitch. This is just for the green, not for the white, yeah? Take your knot undone. If you want to not have a knot there, take it undone and we're going to do that last slip stitch and the last half double crochet together. Again, don't split the yarn like I just did. Hello. All right, so what I want you to do, just quickly, is complete your last half double. No, don't complete it, start it. Pull the loop through like that. Don't make a knot. Leave it like that. I want you to grab your sewing needle and your thread, pull it through. And from here, that's not complete. That knot is still not finished. What you're going to do is go through the back loop of your stitch, not the stitch with your stitch marker that you had in, it's the stitch right after it. You're going through the back loop of that stitch, coming around through the back. Then you're going in through to the front of that stitch right there, the first stitch that you started with, that you didn't complete, and you're closing up the stitch like so. So you don't see a knot. That is not finished. Normally I just weave it in, but that can come loose. So I've decided to actually pass the needle back into the stitch that we were in. Very loosely, don't do this too tight because it will be noticed. And do it one more time back into that first stitch, and there you go. You can see that it's a little bit more solid, but it's not, you don't see a knot. Turn it over, find some place where you want to weave this end in. Now I think my opinion would be to split a stitch at the back, not the front, the back of your work, pass that needle through, and then just jump into some stitching right below there, passing your needle through. The reason is this thread here is going to be weaved in backward and forwards from there, so you've got to go this way. You don't have to, you can have a double thickness there if you like, but I just want to save you from having so much thick. Now as you can see, I am so much thick area, by the way, I didn't get that sentence finished. I am splitting the stitch here and going back in the other direction, making sure I can't see the needle from the front. Yep. And then passing that needle through the other way again, making sure you can't see the needle, and you can't, which is good. Pull that thread through. Guess what? You're done. All right. Those are the tricky tails I wanted to show you. The rest is easy. Give it a tug. Your tail will hide inside your stitching there. All right, now with the rest of these ends, what I want you to do is weave in all these ends, meet me back here, and then we'll talk about what we're going to do with our white. All right, meet me back here, get those ends done, and we'll talk about what you're going to do next. Don't forget to weave in this first tail of the white, and we'll talk about what we're going to do next. Alrighty guys, so we have weaved in all our ends, pop our green out the way. We're going to continue on with our white. Now don't forget guys, you can also put this row on your greens as well using your green colours. Yeah, but in the meantime we are going to slip stitch into the stitch with our stitch marker. Like so. Pull the loop through and pull it through to the loop on your hook. Remove your stitch marker. Chain 1. Now we're going to do a single crochet in that stitch, and a single crochet is pop your hook in the stitch, pull a loop through, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, pop your stitch marker in there, like so. We're going to do yet again another single crochet in the next stitch. Hook in, pull a loop through, yarn over, pull through 2, and you've got 2 single crochets up the top. Yeah, in this stitch space, let's try corner, in this corner space you are putting 2 single crochets, 1 and 2, chain 2, 1 and 2, and 2 single crochets, 1 and 2. Now, like before, you need to push everything over so you can find that very first stitch in there. And that is a single crochet in your first half treble, a single crochet in your double. So that's your 2 single crochets, single in your next 3, single in your next 4, single in your next 5, whoops, like so. Now this part here can be a tad tricky. All right, I'm going to do a slip stitch 2 together. Now we've never done a slip stitch 2 together on this channel. We've done a single crochet 2 together, half double, double and that sort of thing, but we've never done a slip stitch 2 together. Just take your time with it. It's not completely hard, but it's a little bit, just take your time with it, yeah? Pop your hook in your first stitch, pull a loop through, 2 loops on your hook, being careful not to jump into that stitch. There is a stitch right there. So you pop your hook in that stitch, pull a loop through, and what you have is 3 loops. Now normally we would put yarn over and pull through all 3. We're not going to do that. We're just going to grab this top loop that we have here, right here where my thumb is, and pull it through to that second loop and pull it through to the first loop. And that is a slip stitch 2 together. Now right there next to it, if you give your work a tug, you can see that very next stitch. You're going to pop a single crochet in that stitch, 1, and your next 2, and your next 3, and your next 4, and your next 5. In that space there, you're doing an easy stitch, 2 single crochets, 1 and 2, chain 1 and 2, and 2 single crochets. And that's going to be, oh, that didn't work. That was like a slip stitch, wasn't it? And that's going to be your corner throughout the rest of the piece. Yeah, 2 single crochets, chain 2, and 2 single crochets. Move your little guy over from here onwards. Actually, from the corner onwards, it's a repeat in the round. A single in your first stitch, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And what are you going to do here? Slip stitch those 2 single crochets together. Put your hook in, pull a loop through into the next one, pull a loop through, 3 loops on your hook, just turn your hook, pull it through the second one, turn your hook, pull it through that first one. Single crochet in your very next stitch, which is right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, we'll do a corner together. Single 1, 2, chain a 1 and 2, and 2 more single crochets in the corner. Actually, I know what I will do. Hang on a sec. There. We're going to do up to the last 3 single crochets, and I'll explain why in a minute. Moving your gear over again, like that, and single into your first, second, third, whoops, try that again, third, fourth, and fifth. And again, slip stitching the 2 together, 1 and 2. Pull it through the second loop, pull it through your first, single in your very next stitch, and your next, and your third. What we'll do is I won't let you head off on your own. I'll just pop the rest of this on fast, and you get to your stitch marker right here, and I'll meet you there once you're done. So let's keep going in the 4th and in your 5th. Right, single 1, single 2, and when you get to the end of this round you should have 1 left there, 3. So you should, because you've already done your 2 singles there, you should have 1, 2, 3 singles. Now before we join, let's just lay that out flat, making sure everything is perfect, because we're going to join the way we joined the green. Remember how we joined the green with the sewing? Now if you don't want to do that, slip stitch, pull up a loop and just weave in as normal. But yours truly wants to hide the knot. All right, so we are going to not complete that stitch. We're not going to make a knot here. We're just going to pull it up like that. Make yourself a long loop. It's easier to work with if it's a long loop. You don't have to. I just find it easier to work with. Pull that loop through. Don't pull it too tight, yeah? Grab your stitch, your sewing needle, stitch marker I was going to say. Hello. I've got stitch marker on the brain because I want to get that stitch marker out of there. But what I want to do is show you where you need to put your needle. Instead of putting it in your stitch marker, you're putting it in the stitch before your stitch marker right there. Yeah. So now you can take out that stitch marker and you went through the back of the stitch like that. Yeah. Then you're going to give it a tug like so. Nice and close. And you're going back in to that very first stitch that you haven't completed. And you're going to pull it shut like so. Now don't pull that too tight because that's going to tug and it's going to squash everything in, and we don't want that. So just lay your work out flat and make sure it's pulled just enough to close up your stitch, but not enough to pull at it and make it look, you know, yucky. Yeah, yucky, can I say that? All right, guys, I just had to redo that stitch again because I wasn't in frame when I showed you, but I'm not going to do it again. I'm going to show you what I did. I just went back into that second stitch. I did it again. Oh my gosh. Let's bring that down. Hello. All right. So what I'm going to do is not show you again. I'm just going to pop my needle back into the second stitch. We're in there. You're skipping that loop. You're going into that second stitch. You're going to pull it through. And I'm not going to pull mine all the way through because I've already done this, but it wasn't showing before, right? You keep pulling yours all the way through, and then you go back into that very first stitch that you did, which I'm already there. Pull that through. I'm just going to take it undone for a minute. Pull it through. And don't pull too tight, but don't leave it too loose. It needs to look like it's all full there, all right? Now I'm going to have to rethread my needle. Excuse me a moment. Okay, so I did that off air. All right, so now that you're way back here, what you need to do is, it's a little bit tricky with the white to see, you need to find a loop anywhere you like and pop your needle in through any loop. And I've split my loops, which is okay. There's no problem with that, but I've split it and put it at the back. Make sure that you can't see that here. Doesn't matter too much because the white is really hard to see anyway, so if you mess it up, you mess it up, no one notices. But there you go, split in the back of that stitch there, and you're going downwards, yeah, so that you can get in between some of your single crochets along here. You should be checking the front, sorry guys, check the front. And then all you're doing is once again weaving in across into the single crochets. Check to make sure you can't see the needle. That's just in the space there, and you can't, so that's good. And pull that loop through like so. Going back in the other direction again. Again, if this is all too confusing, you could have just done your normal slip stitch, made a knot and pulled the loop through. That's it. And it would have been easy. You could have weaved it into the back. But I'm trying to make it so that you can't see the knot, which is exactly what we've done so far. All right, so what you have now is one star complete. There's no way you can tell where that knot was. No way, okay? So you now have one small star complete and one big star. Thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget you need 2 of these stars, 2 of the Santas, 2 of the trees, and 1 big star for this to work. Okay, if you don't want to do that big star and it was all too much for you, just do 2 each of these, and that's it. And you can just put 1 in between each, yep, when we're ready to join. Thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share. And a very big special thank you to the lovely green butterfly for her choice of colour combination today. All right, now if you wanted to be a part of choosing the colours for our very next project, please join us on our live at 10 a.m. Saturday morning, Melbourne, Australia time, where you as a subscriber get to choose the colour combination of our very next project. Thank you once again, Green Butterfly, and Merry Christmas, everyone. Ciao for now.